Welcome, my friends, to the Be a Paid Speaker Now podcast. I'm Deborah Deras, your host. Each week, you'll hear from top experts in the speaking industry who will share their insider secrets. Learn what works and what doesn't by hearing real stories of success and failure. My intention is to be your speaking coach to help you reach your goals faster and easier. I believe you are the messenger for the message. So thanks for tuning in, and let's get started. And we are back with another episode of the Be a Paid Speaker Now podcast. And I am super excited because today we have one of my favorite people. I am so You are so in for a treat today because Jules is going to give you so many great strategies, so many great techniques, and let me introduce you to her. She is a sought after business and social etiquette expert, co author of The Power of Civility, and founder of Etiquette Consulting Inc. Jules is dedicated to empowering individuals and groups with confidence and essential social grace. She conducts workshops, seminars, and webinars for business professionals, newly elected officials, college students, youth, and teens. She is regarded as a foremost authority in business etiquette. Jules has been interviewed by and quoted in a variety of media outlets, including NBC Nightly News, ABC World News, Bravo TV, MTV, Good Morning America, KCBS, the San Diego Tribune, KNX 1070, and Marketplace PR. Please welcome Jules.
Why, thank you, Deborah. Thank you for having me.
We're so glad to have you here. And I had the pleasure recently, I think it was about a year ago, to see Jules in action. I mean, I already knew she was on TV. I knew that she wrote a book and she's a dear friend and neighbor of mine, but I actually hadn't seen her speak. And can I tell you, she kills it. You kill it, Jules.
Thank you.
You are such a fantastic speaker. And I think when people see great speakers, they don't realize all that goes into getting you there on the stage and what came before that. And I know you have a really, to me, fascinating story. Why don't you tell everyone how you got started as an entrepreneur and as a paid professional speaker?
Sure. So, my journey to etiquette consulting and ultimately a speaker, I was looking for some. Well, actually, no, I sent my girls to an etiquette class because it really helped me a lot as a single mom with the lack of higher education. But the way I was raised, I knew first impressions were important, work ethic, and I knew because of the way I was raised, we were taught manners, and I don't know if my mom knew she was really teaching us, all these step up manners. So anyhow, so I sent my girls to an etiquette consultant, and I really loved what they were learning. I would look at their books, and I really, oh, this is the reason why you do this. I didn't know this, etc. So I googled what it took to be an etiquette consultant, and that was in 2005, and here I am.
Wow. So you Googled what it takes to be an etiquette consultant,
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
you followed step by step by step.
Pretty much, yes. So there's a set of books. It's Fab Job, I believe it's called, and they talk about all these different types of jobs. If you want to be an event planner, if you want to be, antiquist, if you want to be whatever it is you want to do, it kind of it outlines it, how much you could make, what you could do with it, et cetera, et cetera. So I started there, got that, downloaded that book. I found, but some of the courses to be an etiquette consultant can be upwards of $10,000 to get those certifications. And at that time, I was a stay-home mom because my girls were in school. So I found a course that I could afford, and I took, it was a home course, module, read it, and just absolutely loved it.
Mhm. And then how did you segue from, I guess, doing consulting one on one to being a speaker?
So the segue actually, I liked social etiquette, and that's kind of what I wanted to focus on, was on the social side. And I was practicing my speaking skills at East Los Angeles College during their community service classes on the weekends with kids, and I kind of perfected it there. And I realized I loved speaking. And then I got a phone call about co-authoring the book, but it was on the business side. It wasn't a social book; it was a business etiquette book. So again, my passion is on first impression. So that's what I wrote about: first impression. 6 ways that you make a positive first impression. After the book was finished and it came out, I got a call from NBC, a producer at NBC Nightly News. They were looking for an etiquette consultant to talk about how you dress to work during the summer. I sent her my chapter because there was some things in there about dressing for success. And I realized, I guess, business etiquette is going to be my platform. And once I wrote that, co-authored that book, and once I got an NBC, the rest was just people. I started getting phone calls. At the same time, though, I did know that social media played a big part, like SEO and things of that sort. I couldn't afford it, so I took lots of classes and made sure that my blog posts and everything were SEO heavy on the terms that I wanted to be known for. And like they say, the rest is history, and here I am.
You're talking my language as the social media goddess, because I love talking about keywords and being discovered, because without them you could be the best speaker in the world, and if no one online can find you, people won't know about you. So you wrote blogs and people were discovering you to hire you from your blog posts.
Correct. So I had taken a couple, like, webinars on how to be, how to get noticed, how to do, all the how to's that I could think of, that on courses that I could afford and or that were free. I took them. It didn't matter what time of the day or night. I took them. So, and one woman said, if you want to be recognized as an expert, you have to identify yourself as the expert, because no one's going to come up to you and say, oh, you are now crowned the expert in business etiquette. You have to go say you are the business etiquette expert. And you do that by writing blogs, by being out there, by, commenting on others people's blogs as, as the expert in your field. And that's really what I did. I would take my girls to school, come home, and that's really what I did. Just either wrote the blog post or troll just search the internet for um, either like image consultants or party planners, things that were not my competitors, but my strategic alliances, and just comment. And that's really how this whole thing just started for me.
Wow. So it is positioning, because one of the things I talk about when I do my Be a Paid Speaker Now Academy is, my favorite line is, clarity is cash, is your knowing what is your expertise, because you said etiquette was a big field, but you really like the social part of it, and that was
Yes.
going to be what you were going to focus on. So one of the things that I always tell people is to niche your niche. So etiquette is one niche, but then the social part is the niche of that niche. So you are the number one best person to go to when you want the essentials of social grace. And you are that expert because you proclaim yourself to be. Did you hear what Jules said? She says, no one's going to give you like a ribbon and say, you are the expert. You have to become the expert by writing articles, by commenting on other people's articles. That is so fantastic. I love that. So when it comes to marketing, I mean, obviously it's something that you learn through doing research, but what other strategies did you learn? Because I know you're a lifelong learner, always going to certificate programs and classes. And what marketing strategies do you recommend for others to book paid gigs?
So for more, okay, so again, back to the marketing, and also too, when you're first speaking, you want as much practice as you can get. So even though I don't always speak for free, but every now and then, I'll do a quote unquote marketing presentation, and that's where you give like 20 minutes of a presentation. but you can upsell at the end. So you don't necessarily get paid to speak, but you can upsell. So I can upsell a class, I can upsell a webinar, my book, etc. So I was doing that for a really long, and I still do that. Speak for like 20 minutes, give a few nuggets, but I get to upsell at the end of a presentation. So I'll do that, or cost effective presentations where I'm really getting paid just gas and in a little bit of time. So I'll do that again as well. Now videos, I've been taking a lot of classes on videos and how so many people these days look online, look specific, not just online, but at videos to see you. And have had clients or prospects call and say that they've seen my videos and they think my personality will fit with their audience. So that's the other thing, is being true to who you are. I'm loud, I'm animated, I'm not for everyone. And I know that and I appreciate that and I'm good with it. If somebody says, no, I don't think you'll work out, I know it's not me personally. They know their audience, and the booker has to also do what's best for them on their side. So that's something else. But I would say for right now, anybody getting starting in the speaking arena, do videos, be yourself, and be okay to be yourself. Be animated and loud and laugh. And, like Deborah, you're a phenomenal speaker, and you are you when you're on that stage. You don't pretend to be anything else. So I think that is probably the best thing that I could tell somebody right now.
That is such great advice because I will tell you, when I first started, not as a speaker, but as a professor, I was in my 20s and I thought I needed to be what people like older and more mature and more serious. So I cut my hair short and I used to wear like these gray suits and navy blue suits. And it wasn't me, but it was corporate. And I thought I should be corporate. And I didn't enjoy myself. And then people didn't enjoy it as much either. And then when I said, what would happen if I was myself and I wore pink or I wore blue and I just was, my hair was down. I was just being myself. I know what you say about the first impressions, but the being true to your voice and truly allowing your message to come through, that's why people will hire you. I was just on the phone with somebody that hired me for a speaking engagement, and I really wanted to know from the marketing perspective, how did you find me? And what made you choose me? And it was so interesting. They said, we had so many people and, they were advocating for you. I was like, well, what was the determining factor? And they said, because we think you're a firecracker. It doesn't say firecracker speaker, but they're like, your energy is explosive, right? And they said sometimes conferences can be boring and we want somebody that's going to keep people engaged. So like what you think is loud,
Right.
other people think is inspiring or engaging or that kind of thing. So it's really important that you take Jules' advice to heart and be yourself. And if you are the quiet type speaker, one of the favorite speakers I love, I don't know if you know, is Eckhart Tolle and Don Miguel Ruiz. And they sit down, they're quiet, but they're so good. Their information is so full of amazing content that you listen to every word. So, what do you think? Um, that you've learned in this industry? Because it's not an easy industry. It's like the acting industry, or the dog is in the house.
Yep.
It's like being a model. Like it's not for the weak of heart. You have only the tough really will survive. What have you learned the hard way that you'd love to help people not have to go through that same obstacle?
One of the ones is being yourself. That was hard again because I would do like a speaking presentation, and then I would get the feedback, and knowing the content was always fives, maybe a four, in the scale of like 1 to 4. And when people would say, like they would judge if they needed, if they felt that the presentation was needed, then I would, one time I got like a 3, and I took that too hard. They weren't criticizing me. They just thought that they would rather be networking during the lunch than, listening to an etiquette presentation. Because that's generally, I do a lot of dining etiquette. So that's generally when they're going to hire me, is, during the lunchtime. So, so again, you have to have really thick skin, and know that it's not personal. She said nothing bad about me. All she said was she'd rather be networking. That's all she said. And I was like, I was fixated. Never mind that I had gotten 35s for my speaking skills. No, that didn't matter. So again, being yourself, knowing that you're valuable, knowing that you're good, knowing that you give great content, and if somebody doesn't agree, doesn't like, does whatever the reason is, just you have to let it go
Oh my God,
because
that's so good. Yes.
yeah, because those other 20 some, 30 some people in the room loved you. So concentrate on them. We always go
Exactly.
negative. I don't know why.
I feel you, girl. And for a long time, because I used to do a lot of corporate training and I would get those evaluations. And somebody, like a mentor, said, you're not going to, everyone's not going to like you. Because I thought that everyone should like me. I like me. Why not you? Um, so he said, you will get 10% of people every single time they don't like you for whatever reason. They don't like your shirt. They don't like the way your eyes are shaped, whatever it is. And it's like Jules says, you focus on all the people that did like you, but then you can take the constructive feedback if it's good feedback, like something like logical, like, oh, there was a misspelling on the PowerPoint or this was wrong, right? You take that to heart, but you don't take it as a criticism of who you are. Because I believe that everybody has a message that they are here to share, that you have unique talent, skills, and abilities, and it needs to get out into this world. We can't let haters stop us because there will be haters. And the more successful you have, I'm sure you have more people that are either to your face or behind your back trying to talk bad about you. Have you ever had that?
Oh yeah, yeah. And again, it's something that you can't let it derail you from your bigger picture. So and I know you talk about this a lot. We were put here on this planet for a reason, and that's what you have to stay focused on. And along the way, you're going to have those haters. And yeah, and you're right. The more successful you get, you know, the more successful you get, the more people are not going to like you, or they're going to put a lot of negative comments on your videos. What, it is what it is. As long as, this is the way I feel, as long as at the end of a presentation, at the end of a video, at the end of whatever, I gave 110%, if I can say yes, I'm good.
Right.
I made people feel good. I didn't treat anybody poorly. If I stuck to my core values, and I would say 99.9% of the time I do when I'm working. You know what? That's all I can do. And if somebody doesn't like me, well, sorry, but then just nothing I can do about that.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think it's really important because it's very hard to be in front of a group of people that are basically, you know, waiting for you to entertain them. It's not easy to do that. It takes a certain talent, it takes a certain skill. And so your ability to do that is not a popularity contest. It's not about being a people pleaser. It's about, I say, educational or edutainment. So you're educating them and you're entertaining them all at the same time so that they laugh, they cry, and they learn. That's the thing
Right.
about you and me and people that I coach is that the workshops are full of content. So if you didn't learn anything new, your mind was closed. So like you said, you focus on doing your best. It's like the four agreements, right? All you could do is your best. If you did
Right.
your best, you check that box off, you're great. So, what recommendations would you have for people that are just getting started in the industry or just thinking about becoming a paid speaker? There may be experts in their field, they're doctors, they're lawyers. How would you, what would you suggest for them to do to get into the field?
To get into the field, again, be a self-proclaimed expert. And you might be an expert in your field, but you also want to be that paid speaking expert.
Okay.
Um, so, so you want to, again, position yourself, do videos, figure out where you can go to, where you can get a stage, so that you can be that person. So when you finally do get that audience, do your research, know who they are, so that you know how to, your level of intensity, you know that. Be there early enough so that you can meet some people, so that when you go on stage, you're not, a stranger. you can kind of, look around and get a feel of what's going on around you. Practice, 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 practice ahead of time. I know, a few people who say they're going to wing it, and for the most part, they're good, but they go off track a lot, or they forget to say certain things, or I meant to say that, or I meant to, do this. So have a good outline of what it is that you're going to speak, because you don't want to read from notes. You need something to keep you on track, but you don't want to be reading verbatim, because then you'll be boring. Um, if you don't speak now in front of people, I would highly recommend videotaping yourself and playing it back one time without audio so you can see your body language. And then the second time so that you can hear your voice. Because the first time I was on radio, I'm like, that's not me. My voice isn't that high. Oh, yeah, that was me, all right. Or my hands used to move a lot. Like, so and they still kind of do it, now, but I'm mindful. Speak slowly. Keep your hands down. You're not bringing in a plane. Things like that. Because I saw myself. So a lot of times we don't see what other people see. Yeah.
Yes, I highly recommend that. And that's why I coach people to go to Toastmasters. Toastmasters is a nonprofit organization that helps people to improve their speaking and even to write your speech. Because, like, maybe for you it was easy, but in the beginning, I was like, I don't even know where to start. I don't even know how to start this speech. So, just to have the practice to create a speech, because it's one thing to be an expert, but it's another thing to put a body of work into like a 20-minute or 40-minute compelling, entertaining, educational talk that is going to inspire, empower, and really get all the content pieces. So it's something that is definitely a art and a science that practice makes perfect. So I like that idea of practicing with the sound off and then practicing with the sound on. And then if you are interested, toastmasters.org, there's all through the nation. You can find one that's local to you. If you're in Los Angeles, we have one on the second and fourth Thursdays of the month. It's called Synergy Speakers Toastmasters. So you all are officially invited. So I hope you guys can make it out. And I know that many, many, many people started out their speaking career in a Toastmasters meeting. So who is your target audience? So when you go to speak and people are hiring you, what what audiences do you find is the best match for you?
I would say they are the later 20s to mid 30s. They are either just finishing MBAs, or they are in, graduate school. They're more, for the most part, they are in either like a wealth management position, or they sell insurance, something where where they wine and dine clients.
Oh.
That is the main, that's one huge portion of my client base. So it's anybody with a sales team. So I go a lot to like retreats, like in the end of summer, and they'll do a retreat. And so I'll go in, and most of these professionals already have the etiquette, but sometimes they need a refresher course, or, it never helps. It never hurts, rather, to take another etiquette class, because etiquette's consistently revolving, because we're constantly having new things that pop up, like cell phones. And now everything is, is it proper to send a text message, or is it an email, or is it how do you act on a video conference call? So society's constantly evolving, so therefore etiquette has to consistently evolve. They are my biggest.
Definitely.
Okay, so my second core group of audience is the County of Los Angeles Library. They have a program called Adult 101 Life Skills for Teens. And it's all those things that they don't really learn anywhere, like how to balance a checkbook. There's, dining and social etiquette, exercising, just a bunch of life skill type topics. And so they're my second biggest base, is them, is teens getting ready to go off to college.
And this is really important because one of the questions that I always get from people is, I want to be paid speaker, and so clarity is cash. What are you the expert on? But then the second thing is to identify, but who will pay you? Who are the people that need you, like those people that are in the insurance field and the county library people, and then who are the people that have the budgets that will pay you and that will pay you continuously, because one of the things about the speaking industry that's kind of hard is it can be a one off, like you speak at a conference one year and then they want to have a new speaker and you're starting all over. So the client acquisition process can be a long and really difficult one unless you're really key on the industry, on the association, on the groups that need the service that you have. And then it's positioning yourself, right? It's
Correct.
positioning yourself, and you have done that so well. Look at it what Jules did. She got press. So she's doing both her own press with her blogging, and then she got press to get really well known out in the public. How are you able to book so many media engagements?
That actually has just been, again, back to my website and them finding me online, because I personally have not sent out anything to producers or, you know, or got or have had a booking agent, etc. That truly has been. They looked online. I think I know I had one producer tell me, because I was on the west side, so it made it convenient for them because their studios were on the west side. So sometimes it has a lot to do with just luck, where of my location. Um, or one woman said that she got my name. I do some stuff sometimes for KFI. And so she got my name actually from a producer friend who's at KFI who used me. So, you just got to get that one and then just keep using it and keep putting it out there. Instagram, take a little clip of it and, use that for marketing, a throwback Thursday when I did my first interview segment, whatever. That's what keeps you out there, and again, that's what keeps you. That's what like one more thing to position you as an expert. If these people will use you, then we got to use her or him.
Exactly. And so one of the things that I love about your website is you have like as seen on and client lists. So it gives you social proof that these other companies are hiring you or these other colleges are hiring you, that you need to bring her in too, because if you want to be the top of the game, then you need to hire this person. So having that as social proof really, really helps. So you're doing everything that I coach people on. You have the clarity is cash, you have your calling card where you've niched your niche and you position yourself through blogging and through PR. What else do you do to cultivate leads to stay busy as a paid speaker?
So this is probably the one thing that I don't do often. But then when I'm not as busy, I realize, shoot, I have to go back to my foundation. You have to be a salesperson. As an entrepreneur, you wear many hats. And
Hmm.
until you get to be in a position where you can pay people to do these things for you, I'm not there, unfortunately, as of yet. I'm still my own booker. So it's, sending out my one sheet, your speaker sheets, my media kit, just that's really what I do. Identifying who my ideal clients are, asking other people. I'm grateful and blessed that at this point I do get a lot of referrals as well, or because I do speak at a lot of universities. When the career director leaves one university, she goes to a new one. I get booked still by the new director at the university where I spoke at, plus wherever that woman or male went to. So I now have two,
Yeah.
schools.
Wow.
Um, yeah, or again, because I know, like I said earlier, my big one of my big pools is MBA, whether it be students or recent graduates. So the career service director or the director, the admissions director, those are the people you want to contact. And that's a small world. So my name does get passed around at their conventions or at their meetings. So that's what you really want to do, is make sure when you have a relationship with somebody, especially when somebody really loves your presentation, you want to keep in contact with them. Happy summer, hope you're enjoying your winter, whatever it is, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, whatever. Just constantly, constantly keep your name there, because when they get asked, hey, do you know somebody who speaks on XYZ? You want them to think of you.
Exactly. And one of the things I do, I have like a sheet that has like income producing activities. And one of them is my newsletter, right? So writing like either a weekly or a monthly newsletter, giving people etiquette tips, people that hired you before will keep you top of mind to be hired again. And I loved that you talked about keeping in touch because as a speaker, we're not just a speaker, like Jules said, we're entrepreneurs, we're salespeople. So you need to have some sort of a client, a relationship management system, a CRM like Salesforce, or I use HubSpot, or there's tons of them that you can use, either free or paid, so that like one of my clients or prospects, I should still say, she hasn't hired me yet. But some people, it's taken me 5 years of following up, so I never give up. So it's her birthday today. So I made sure to send her a text to say happy birthday. So like I'm popped in her mind. I mean, with speaking, it's not like you're gonna get a sale in 2 weeks or a month. I have had leads that have taken me 5 years because they just weren't ready for me yet. They had other people in mind, or it just wasn't the right time. So the follow up is so important. The money's in the follow up. So really staying on top of people. And also, one of the things you didn't mention, but I know this is true about you, is you're super involved in all these different boards and activities. You're of service in the community, and people see you of service, and they're like, "Oh, I see her, at this event, at that event. I should refer her." Like then. Then the referrals help you have that word of mouth as well. What percentage of the business would you say would be referral based?
Wow, a referral base would probably be close to half, if not half, at this point. But again, I've also been speaking since 2006, so it's a good portion of my, maybe even more. I do get a lot of referrals.
Okay,
So
everyone, I hope you're taking notes on what Jules is saying. Number one, she's writing blogs. Number two, her website is optimized for keywords. Number three, she's sending a one sheet, which has basically your speaking topics, your bio, your client list, testimonials, right? That's what's on your one sheet.
yes, correct.
You're sending those out. You are keeping in touch with people where you've spoken before, and then you're out there in the community. So it's not just social media. Everyone would love to just be on social media and hiding. We do need to get out as well. So you get out and you are involved in the community and on boards, and then those professional people refer you. And then guess what? You're working and you are sincerely the leader. I've never seen an etiquette speaker even come close to you, my friend. You're
Oh, thank you.
awesome. So by the way, if you're listening right now, you want to book Jules, I will highly recommend her and refer and endorse her on LinkedIn. Just ask me for an endorsement, uh, Jules, on LinkedIn. I could write you a nice paragraph there
Oh,
if you.
thank you. And that right there, also, you have to remember for endorsements, or ask for, you know, some kind of testimonial, LinkedIn, Yelp, Google. So thank you, Deborah. Thank you for mentioning that, because
Yeah,
yes, that's something else that people read. People will, I mean, people will look you up. When you go to buy or hire someone, what do you do? I know I go on, the World Wide Web and put in that person's name, or the, whatever the topic that I want to research, and look something up. So yes, you want to be optimized in all avenues, and thank you for mentioning that,
yeah, and actually,
recommendations.
that is on the list of the income producing activities. Because people, like, you could write how amazing you are on your website, but people will believe what your audience members said about you. That's what's going to sell you. They're like, oh, and one of the things I recommend is when you do a speech to have an evaluation where people can write a testimonial for you. Then you could leave a speaking engagement with like 30 testimonials if 30 people love you in the room, and you could use them on all your marketing materials. But now we live in a world where like LinkedIn and Google reviews and Yelp, that's where people are looking. So they want to see, how many stars you have, how many reviews you have. So make sure you're actively having clients that rave about you. Ask them to do a review because that'll really, really help. So speaking of which, where can people find you online, Jules, and how can they stay in touch with you?
Sure. So you can go to my website, which is juleshirst.com, JULESHIRST.com. And you can send me an email through there, or you can also give me a call or send me a text at 310-425-3160.
Ooh, you're giving them your phone number. Why not? I like people that call me. I was like, email is overwhelming, but phone calls are great. So I love it when people call. So make sure that you stay in contact with Jules. I believe that success leaves clues, and having someone that was just in the position that you're in right now, just thinking about becoming a speaker, that you are an expert, you can look at someone like Jules that since 2006, she has been committed and just moving forward and allowing her message to be heard in the world. So thank you so much. And thank you all for listening. I really hope that this is helpful for you. If you have a guest that you think I should interview, or if you have a topic that you want me to talk about, make sure you let me know. You can put a wonderful and fantastic review right on iTunes and let everyone know that you love the Be a Paid Speaker Now podcast and you want even more. In addition to that is I have a free ebook for you. If you want to be an even more confident speaker so you can get paid those big bucks, you want to download this ebook. It literally is everything I did and everything I coach others to do to be confident when taking the mic. And it is deborahderas.com/speak now. So deborahderas.com/speak now. And I will go ahead and put that in the show notes so you can get that free ebook and take your speaking to the next level. I don't want you to wait till you're ready. Can you give them one more piece of advice, Jules, about not waiting? Because everybody wants to wait till they're perfect. Tell them why they should do it now.
Because there's no such thing as perfect. You're always going to be whatever, whatever the reason is. If you practice, you'll have the confidence and start small and then you will be big.
Exactly. You have to start somewhere.
Yes.
Everybody started small with like one person in the room. I remember I had six people in my first room. One of them was my mother. And they just told me for my recent speaking engagement, they're like, everyone's going to be there. Even the vendors are going to be there. There's going to be no one even on the phone during your session. I'm like, okay, no pressure. And what did Jules say that I'm going to take with me? Deborah, do your best. Give your 111% and know that people are going to pick up what you throw down because when you are passionate, you are purposeful, and you are in alignment with your expertise, what you came here to do, it's natural. It's not going to be something you're going to struggle. So make sure whatever topic that you decide on, it's something that you're an expert in and you'll always be successful. So I want to thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to having you on the next episode of Be a Paid Speaker Now. And remember, you are the messenger for the message. Thanks, Jules. Everyone say thanks to Jules.
Thanks for tuning in. Join us next week for more juicy secrets to get you paid to hit that stage. If you would like to grab my free ebook on how to be a confident speaker, go to www.deborahderas.com/speak now. And remember, you are the messenger for the message. See you next week.